Hey garden friends, welcome on back to Garden Tip Tuesday. This one is going to be on clay soil and how it can be some of the best soil you have ever worked with. Yes, if you have bad clay soil, you're probably thinking you're crazy, but I'm going to share with you how I have worked with my clay soil and why now I absolutely love it. So let's get rolling. If you've been around my channel at all, you will have seen my entrance garden tours and what I grow here and how lush it is right now. This is late August, but this is all clay soil. And I will say that clay soil can be claggy, it can crack when it dries out in the summer, it can hold too much moisture, it can have puddles that accumulate when it rains, and that can cause problems with plants. So what do you do with clay soil that makes it where it is just luscious? So what do? You amend, amend, and amend. Now, clay soil is made up of minerals, etc., and they all stick together tightly. And that what makes it hold too much moisture unless you have improved the texture. Now you can amend with compost, well-rotted manure, leaves. Now that's one of the free ones if you have trees, is in the fall, collect up your leaves and bury your beds, flower beds, with the leaves. Now you can go around other plants that may be there, and all it will do is mulch them. You do not have to shred them. I've never shredded them, and it's worked beautifully for me. So, yeah, leaves work great. And it breaks down over the winter. The worms come up and turn it and pull it down into the soil. And you could do the same with compost if you don't have leaves. I no longer have trees on my property, but I do have neighbors, and I get theirs. But I buy bulk compost, and it's turkey manure that's been composted well by the turkey ranch. It's an organic turkey ranch. And I buy it from local feed stores, or a local winery has it in stock. Or even some landscape suppliers near you could have a bulk compost available for use. So try those avenues. I spread 2 or 3 inches on the soil surface in the fall. The worms work through the winter. They pull it down into the soil. While they're pulling it down into the soil, they're making little holes and they're aerating your clay soil. Now, did you know clay soil can be some of the richest because it holds those minerals. Those minerals are something the plants love, as well as it holds on to like fertilizers and other things. It doesn't just wash through before the plant can absorb it. So that's the benefit of having clay soil. I'll take you around to some of my plants here, share with you what I have going on right now. And like I said, this is clay soil. It was so clayey that when I started, I dig up clumps, and I still do. If I go down very far, big clumps of pure clay that you can mold. You moisten it, you can mold it, you can make bowls with it. As kids, we used to do that, have fun digging up the clay clods and making them into something and air drying them or sun drying them, bake them, and pretend, we were potters or whatever. So I understand, the dilemma of clay soil in the valley. When I lived down there, my grandmother's farm was on what was called peat, but this was very clayey as well, and it was black. Here we have red clay. Down there it was black. And in the winter, it would get claggy. You'd slip and slide on it if you walked across it. In the summer, it would get these big cracks if it dried out in it. So those are 2 indicators that you have clay soil. But mine has been turned into the most beautiful, friable, they call it, and crumbly loam from my years of amending. It will take time. That is all. It does take time to get there. But in the meantime, there are also plants that love to be in clay soil. So you can start by planting those varieties. Hopefully I'm not too deep a shadow from the backlight, but sweet. roses. Love them. That's Royal Wedding, pure white. Planted these at the base of this rose so I could have the double whammy of scent with the Gertrude Jekyll rose. Let me see if I can pull it over here so you can see it. One is shattering, but look at that. That's okay. That one had its day. So before I get to a list of the few plants that do love the clay soil, I wanted to say you could also plant cover crops. Cover crops are like buckwheat, red clover, I think there's another one and I'll list it. But I love the buckwheat in the warm part of the winter. Like in the fall, I'll plant it. It'll get going a ways, and then winter, it'll kill it back. But in the meantime, I mean, as it gets taller, and then when it rains and snows, it lays it down so it acts as a cover or a mulch on top of the soil. Buckwheat grows very fast. It's very hardy. Many people will say, don't let it go to seed because it will spread. But I've had no struggle with it coming up in my beds because I love it. Even when it comes up in my beds with my flowers, I'll just prune it back in. I'll cut it in increments of 1 or 2 inches, cut it way back, let it fall to the ground, because buckwheat not only feeds your soil, it can also improve the pH all by itself. And yeah, so never fear about having buckwheat grow among your flowers. I was listening to a podcast of flower farmers, and one claimed that in all of her beds that she planted buckwheat because she had high acidic soil, that by the following year of using the buckwheat, her soil pH had become neutral. And then also she planted it amongst her flowers, her cut flowers. She'd have right down the middle of her bed, she'd have a row of buckwheat, and on each side of that, she would have her cut flowers, and they grew side by side very well. She said she'd never had a better crop. And so you can grow the buckwheat along with your flowers. It'll improve your clay soil and feed it. Beautiful. Clover is a cool weather, the red clover. You can plant it like later fall when it's cooling off. It'll come up, go through winter as a cover crop, and then you till it in. You fork it in, really. You don't want to till, especially clay soil, because it can make it even more claggy. Much. Some people will till the surface, and that's okay. But with the red clover, then it breaks down in the soil, feeds it high nitrogen. The cover crop protects the soil. One thing, soil, any kind of soil likes to be naked. So a cover crop is a beautiful thing. And or if you can't plant those crops, then go ahead and mulch. So let's get to our list of plants that actually enjoy clay soil. So what are some of the plants that actually thrive in clay soil? Would you believe? Roses. Roses love clay soil. They love the nutrient denseness of it, and they put down deep tap roots, so the clay soil doesn't bother them. Another one is daylilies. I'm not a big fan of daylilies, but a lot of people love them. We actually have a daylily farm not far from us, and I need to visit it and pick up maybe some colors that rebloom frequently that maybe it'll change my mind about daylilies. Some more plants, and I have a lot of them in the front. One is Joe Pyeweed. Love the clay soil. Black-eyed Susans, Echinacea. I have lots of those. Rudbeckias are black-eyed Susans, and the Echinaceas in my entrance garden, as well as I have some here in my rose cottage garden. Switchgrass, which is a panicum. Now, some people aren't into grasses. I don't have many of them. To me, they start to look weedy very easily, but I know others just love the grasses. So that's one that will do fine in clay soil. Another couple, asters. I have native asters. I have other hybrid asters. They do beautiful in the clay soil, as well as my bee balm. Bee balm does fantastic in the clay soil. It also does pretty good in the sandy soil that I have in the secret cottage garden. So if you don't want or don't have time, you really want to get going on planting in your clay soil, but you haven't had a chance to amend it, you can do raised beds. Now, we have friends who live just down the road from us, and they have what's called lava cap. meaning 12 inches below their soil is where it was a lava flow, and it is just hard lava rock everywhere. So they only have that 12 inches of soil, so raised beds. So you add a raised bed, maybe another 12 to 17 inches. It gives you a good depth for most plants to get going. You can use bermed soil as a raised bed, meaning it doesn't have any sides. You could buy metal bed frames. You can make wood bed frames. All those things will help to make a depth of soil that you can control. Many landscape supplies have raised bed soil that you can purchase to fill in to your raised beds. So that's another answer. And another thing, don't step on or walk on your beds a lot. If you have a lot of clay soil, it'll compress it. Now, if you amend a lot, stepping in there to take care of a plant is not going to be a big deal because the worms are going to come up and aerate it again. But you don't want to be trampling on it like you would a pathway or something. Now, my pathway here that I have in my rose alley is a micro clover, and it does great. And that's all clay soil. So that's something that would make a great, like for me, a pathway. I wanted it to be green. It could make a good ground cover. Now, some people claim that the clover is invasive. It will start to go into my beds, but I just use a weed eater and go right across the edges, and it's fine. It just pulls right out any that has gone into the beds. It does go to seed. That's how I planted it, was from seed. And if you have allergies to bees or whatever, you might not want to plant it because the flowers really attract bees. And if you're walking along barefoot or sandals, you could get stung. I haven't. I've had this now 2 years, but okay, I just wanted to make sure I put that out there. So with clay soil, it takes patience. It takes consistency of amending. Also, I wanted to point out, when you dig a hole, do not put compost or amend the hole. You want the roots of your plant to be accustomed or grow accustomed to the native soil. If you fill it with compost, it can take it a while to start reaching out into the soil around it, and that's really what you want it to do. If you want to amend on the top after you've put the native soil back in the hole with the plant. So that is all my spiel on clay soil and what my experience has been and how I have improved mine to be glorious and the most beautiful soil you will want to have. So, as I said, it takes time. I've had 20 years here, but you can do it too. So let's go all on and see a few updates of things, of projects here that I did in the garden and how they turned out. So I wanted to update you on the Vigo elevated garden bed that we did a video on when we installed it. And I said I was going to put container-sized veggies in it. This is a zucchini, and I have gotten the most delicious zucchinis off of it. There's still more coming, and yeah, it's just done great. I stuck my fun pink flamingos out here, but my basil keeps wanting to go to seed, as you see, and I picked a bunch, and I made some delicious pesto with it. Look at the bees still all over that. And then over here, I started putting strawberries in it that I had to move. The tomato plants I had put over here got eaten by the birds. I failed to protect them. But now I'm starting to put strawberries in it. And here's a little tomato that came up from seed that I'll just let go. I'm not going to get any tomatoes from it. It's too late in the season, but it'd be fun just to let it grow. But that, my friends, is the elevated garden bed update. And these are my little watering spikes. I need to fill them up, but that does really a good job in keeping this all moistened. I could have got an irrigation system for it, but I didn't have a source to hook it up to out here yet. So that's why it doesn't have one of those. So here's the update on the greenhouse. The footings have all been poured and ready for him to put down the flooring. We had to put a raised floor down instead of doing gravel or something like that here because of the terrain. But yeah, it's going to be gorgeous. And there's where we're at. This week he should get the floor down and then start raising the walls. So I'll see you in my next video.